Hey, welcome back. I'm Jaded Nerd. I'm talking about the Orlando mass shooting that happened over the weekend that left 50 people dead and 53 more injured. The actions of a man that just acted out of cowardice. That's the tone I'm taking. This was a cowardly act. When everything first happened and all the media outlets and everybody was talking about this, there were a lot of things being thrown around. There was radical Islam. There was homophobia. There was self-hate, ties to ISIS. Like, there was so many things being hurled around, conspiracy theories. I waited. I did not want to make a video and do any commentary because I honestly didn't know what was going on. I don't think any of us did. I thought about it and I decided I was going to team up with a good friend of mine, YouTube creator, AlienAmerican. So you'll get the link to his channel in the description below. Please go check him out. Great content, phenomenal guy. I wanted to talk about this situation because there are so many elements within this story, and there will be so many more that come out. Because in the beginning, it sounded like somebody was just like, "I'm going to do some terrorist act. I have this AK, or assault rifle. I'm going in here. I'm going to kill people." Then, as more elements of the story and more elements about this man's life become public and become known, you start to ask questions. So that's the point of this video. I have a couple questions I want to ask. I would love to hear what you all think. And if y'all have questions you would like to pose, please, we're going to put them in the comment section below and let's get a discussion going. But no, first off, was this self-hate? Was this a situation where you have a guy, he's bisexual, questioning his sexual identity, however you may describe it, and just does not feel comfortable, has not come to grips with it. So he'll do things and then he has self-hate. Could have been triggered by seeing two men kiss publicly and had inner turmoil within himself because he couldn't express himself freely the way he wanted to. Why am I speaking this way? He had profiles set up on gay dating apps, and he had been to Pulse Nightclub many times before. Not just that one time where his wife took him to stake it out like she told authorities. So that narrative tells me, or it could lead me to believe, that you were somebody that was participating on some level within this LGBT community. My hope and my concern is actually, because hope is the incorrect word, but my concern is that if this is the case, and this is not new, this is not something exclusive, there have been many instances where people participated in acts and then they behaved violently afterward. So it could have been a situation the guy just had a lot of self-hate built up in him. So hate crime, and then the fact that it was, tied to religion. It could have just been he made that phone call before, because you never really know if people are going to get into your social media accounts and get all your personal information. We don't think about that when we're doing something stupid like this guy did. You're not thinking about people are going to be able to get access and they're going to find out. So maybe to lessen the blow of the humiliation to him and people finding out his sexual lifestyle, maybe he did that as a way of saying, you know what, I'm doing this really fucked up thing, right? But if I say that I'm doing it and I have ties to ISIS or some other, Islamic extremist group, even though I hate that term, then, that'll make people not see what I was really doing, and I can just blame it on this, put this under this banner, and carry out this heinous act, because at the end of the day, it's murder. I've been hearing a lot of things, people on one side saying, well, they got what they deserve. That's terrible. And people saying that, you're doing this, you're living this lifestyle, this is what's going to happen. Murder is murder. And you thou shalt not kill. Like, it's simple as that. You don't take it upon yourself to be a vigilante to go in and make judgment. We are not supposed to be judging and being fucking, judge, jury, and executioner. That's just not the way things work. So considering the fact that this situation happened, and then the wife has an interesting element as well because she had information. I'm concerned and I'm angry because I feel like she could have told somebody. She could have sent an anonymous email, an anonymous text. She could have something. If you know your husband is batshit crazy like that, if he's abusive, and if he's demonstrated this towards you, and this guy has a problem. And see, that's the problem, where a lot of times people will not come forward. They will not divulge information that they need to divulge. I'm not saying this situation would have been avoided, but what I'm saying is that if you are in a situation where you know something and you know that someone is doing something or has the capacity to do it, and you don't share that information, yeah, you're culpable. You are culpable. You're a co-conspirator. Your action, or inaction in this case makes it possible for something terrible like this to happen. So when you're talking about martyrdom and you're talking about did he do it to martyr himself and to immortalize himself or to take the shame of his sexual identity away, we'll never know. This man is dead. But those are a couple of questions I had for you. You know, just talking about the fact that she felt that he was bipolar. You know, we throw that term around jokingly, but it's not a laughing matter. You know, people deal with mental illness. They deal with varying degrees and varying levels of mental health, good to bad. And I think that once we remove the stigma and once we really start understanding what mental health is and what these conditions are, we can see red flags and we can identify triggers and warning signs a lot sooner. I'm not saying that you're going to eliminate things altogether, but if you're identifying that somebody has these characteristics, or if you realize these characteristics in somebody you know, potentially you could say something to somebody so that this situation doesn't happen that we had over the weekend. And finally, the FBI. Yo, you've talked to this guy and you had him on your watch list. However, your inactivity again led to the death of many people. So I'm hoping that you're going to be thorough post situation, because your inactivity was egregious. I want to turn this part of the video over to my friend Richard. His channel is AlienAmerican. Please go check it out. I hope you all enjoyed that. Please offer your feedback and comments in the comment section below. I'm Jaded Nerd, and I'll talk to y'all next time.
Okay. Hey everybody. I want to take this opportunity first to thank Jaded Nerd. This was actually his idea, and I thought it was a very good one to do a collaboration on the terrible incident that happened in Orlando, Florida, where a guy went into a gay nightclub and shot up a bunch of people. So, I want to give some shout outs to Jaded Nerd and thank him for inviting me to do this collaboration video. And you touched on some of the things I wanted to touch on, so I'm going over my notes here. So I'm going to try and do something a little different. There's 3 other things that I'm going to go into a little bit more on my commentary that that you didn't totally just go over. So my first one, in reaction to this shooting, was, as an atheist, my first reaction was fucking Islam. Which is a reason why I'm glad we waited to do this video, because now that more information has come out, I actually think Islam had little to no responsibility in this incident. So the guy was a Muslim. Based on my research, Omar was a practicing Muslim, went to mosque and all that, and I'm not going to delve too much into it, but my personal belief is Islam is, well, religion in general is not compatible with civilization. In Islamically run countries, homosexuality is a crime punishable by death, along with so many other things, adultery, just things that are normal, everyday occurrences in a civilized society. So I'm not going to be one of these guys that's blaming Islam. Islam has plenty of other things to be blamed upon, but not this one. What I think happened with this guy is, he was obviously mentally ill. And he could not marry his religion with his homosexuality. He did the things which we see people do all the time. They're gay, yet they get married because they either don't want to admit it to themselves, don't want to admit it to their family, or are hoping that it's temporary, or they on one hand they don't want to be gay, but they are. I'm not gonna to posit on the causes of homosexuality, but because I really don't give a shit about it. But I have enough life experience to have seen people that I've known people that have killed themselves because of this. They were ultra orthodox religious people. This was years ago. This was in high school. That was when it was a much greater shameful thing, for lack of a better word, in their mind. Yeah, when I was in high school, I knew a guy that killed himself. Well, all the evidence seemed to point towards that his homosexuality had driven him to a point with depression and whatnot that he ended up killing himself. I've also known other people that were supposedly straight for many years. And all of a sudden, after 20 years of marriage and blah, 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 now they're gay. And the thing is, they're gay the whole time. They were just hoping it would go away or they could mask it enough. This guy, the evidence is showing that he was living the gay lifestyle. He was a patron of this bar that he shot up and used a number of gay apps. I'm not sure what those are. Hookup apps, I guess, for gays. So he was living a dual life. And when you took that, marry it to his mental illness, I think is the real cause of this. This guy was sick. He was sick, he was gay, and religious. Those two things all mixed up didn't work out, and he snapped. Which brings me to the final thing I want to talk about. Immediately after the pundits got on the TV and started talking about this, the terms gun control, assault rifles, everything a pro-gun person as myself takes to heart. Immediately, everyone starts blaming the gun. First thing I want to say is that an assault rifle is not a thing. An assault rifle, you cannot go into a gun store and go, I'd like to buy an assault rifle. The guy's going to look at you like you're a fucking retard. Okay? An assault rifle is this stupid term given to a whole range of styles of weapons, all of which, to my knowledge, are rifles. Using their logic and is anything that is a semi-automatic weapon. Semi-automatic means you can pull the trigger and you don't have to recock it in between pulling the trigger. A lot of weapons are like that. I've got a .22 rifle, one of the smallest freaking bullets that you can get, in my gun safe. And using their logic, it is an assault rifle. This is something that you could barely kill a squirrel with. But to them, it's an assault rifle. I can shoot this thing multiple times without recocking. So, if you go around saying assault rifles should be banned, you're an idiot. And anybody that knows anything about guns is just going to dismiss everything you say after the fact that you say assault rifle. That being said, this guy had an AR-15 with how many rounds? Do you know what kind of clip?
I think he was going with 30
magazines he had, huh?
I think he had 3 magazines, 30 plus.
Okay, so he had 30 round magazines, which in California you can't even do. Yet we had not as great a loss of life in an AR-15 shootout here in California, but that's stupid because I can go and buy a number of different types of handguns that shoot a way bigger bullet that will hold 10 rounds, and I could do way more damage with a simple handgun, carry way more clips, and then you're going to want to ban that. The world is not a safe place, but in this country we have a Second Amendment. There are many reasons why we have a Second Amendment. The Founding Fathers were worried about totalitarian governments. That is one of the reasons why we have the Second Amendment. Another reason is self-protection. Another reason is hunting. Another reason is sport. you cannot take away our rights. And I don't like to use the slippery slope argument. But when the slippery slope argument is actually being demonstrated in real life, it's no longer a logical fallacy. It is what is happening. The world's not a safe place. There are crazy people out there. Yes, you can cite statistics from Australia that said, oh, we haven't had a major gun death in 20 years. I could cite other things like Sweden, where nearly 100% of the population are gun owners. It's almost mandatory. And they don't have gun deaths. The problem is, people are fucked up. There are sick people. Sick people can kill others with guns. They can do it with knives. They can do it with cars. Your bare hands. I don't know. Jeffrey Dahmer, you didn't shoot people. He cut them up. They're sick people. The world's not safe. But you taking my right away is not going to make the world safer. I could have 1 million guns in my closet, and I'm not going to kill anybody with them. Granted, unless they're a totalitarian government, or they're coming into my house to hurt me and my family, or what was the other one? Hunting. Should we have to start eating humans? I don't know what situation that would bring, but yes, I'm not a sick person. And, you know, and people that hate guns, I'm with you on this. I run into a brick wall on this one. I don't think sick people should have guns. But every single thing that is brought forth, every solution, restricts my right. And if it's a choice between my rights being taken away or you just feeling safer, not being safer, feeling safer, I'm going to go with my rights. I don't care that you don't feel safe. You shouldn't feel safe. This world, this whole universe is not a safe place. Sure, you should feel safe in your house, but a criminal could still break in, and I guarantee you that criminal is not obeying these gun laws that you try and impose on us normal, rational, law-abiding people. So, you know what? This is getting a little long, so I'm going to stop there. And what I want to leave you with is, where does it end? And with what rights does it end? You say the Second Amendment is antiquated. It's unsafe. It's bad for society. But it is our right. And when I say it's our right, I mean we have written on a piece of paper called the Constitution things that are deemed our rights. You don't like this one. There's also a thing going around where people are trying to tear down another right, which a right is actually more important than the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. Hate speech, safe places, microaggressions, all of which, to the First Amendment, do not fucking matter, but people are trying to tear it down. Which right is next? Do you think that maybe, I don't know, unreasonable searches and seizures, maybe everybody should be searched so that you feel safer? Maybe we should have a weekly walkthrough with the police in your house to make sure you aren't harboring criminals, drugs, anything, if it makes you feel safer. Speedy trial. Maybe if it makes you feel safer, we should maybe get into cruel and unusual punishment. Not guarantee you a trial by jury of your peers. I could go on, but the examples are going to get more and more ridiculous. with voting rights. With the point is, how you feel is irrelevant to everybody outside of your head. And is that the world that you want to live in? Where how safe you feel up here, regardless of if it is reality, is more important than living in a free society. So anyway, I'm going to drop it with that. Thank you. You guys check out Jaded Nerd. This guy has got skills, he's got talent and heart, and I think he is going to be a big star. And I really appreciate the fact that he said, I'm good at this. Which, if you stuck through this whole little diatribe, you realize I'm not that great a speaker. So, thanks for watching.